When we start Siman Lamed Seif Aleph, Dine Yoledes for Shabbos. Says the Mechava, Yoledes Kifechad L'Shesh by Sakana. A Yoledes, a woman that gives birth, is like a Chad L'Shesh by Sakana. Umechal N'aleh HaShabbos, L'chol Masha Tzricha, Yolad B'Mechal L'Shabbos for whatever she needs. For example, Kairula Chachama and Mokom L'Mokom, to let her get a Chachama, a nurse, from one place to the next, Umiyaldin, and help Umiyaldin Isa, and they help her give birth. And Madlikin Lo Ner, and he can light a candle. Afilu Hisumo. Even if the Yoledes, the one who's giving birth, is a sumo she can't see anyway, still you're allowed to light a candle, and we'll see why. The Mogen Avram, still, if you could do it with a shinui, it's better to do with a shinui. If you're going in tzrichim, a kli, if you have to bring her a kli with something inside of it, they bring a hanging from the hair. Any type of shinui, you should try to do a shinui when you're doing something for a Yoledes. So we'll break up the Seif, we'll go through the Mogen Avrams. So the first Mogen Avram, Seif Khan Aleph says, Mechal Shabbos, and therefore, when a woman reaches her 9th month, Yasmin HaKayel Me'erev Shabbos, she should prepare everything Erev Shabbos, Shalo Yichalel Shabbos, that they should not come to be Mechalel Shabbos. I know most of us are holding past this stage, but when you have kids that are having kids, so usually the parents have more seichel and the head's more with them and the people having the kids. So that's why it's always good for the grandparents to know the halachas, because they can guide the kids, because when someone's having, especially the first baby, usually the head is not with them.
They're in the panic mood.
And they need help. So it's always good to know the halachas.
So a couple of things here. First of all, it's interesting, I never saw the reference to a nurse as chachama.
Chachama, yeah.
Another term. So.
It's called a chachama, yeah.
Yeah.
You find it in Shabbos. Midwife. Yeah. Huh? A midwife, right? Midwife, yeah. It's called a chachama, yeah.
And then the second thing is that the Mechava is obviously consistent with the idea of the Shabbos is declared as opposed to...
But we'll see. We'll get to that.
And the third point I wanted to make is, or at least I wanted to highlight, is he said after the 9th month, right? Because...
Yes, let's go through the Mogen Avram, yeah.
It's supposed to be the 8th month, because it was an issue, I think.
No, let's go through the Mogen Avram. Mogen Avram says over here,
what does that mean practically? Like, she has to prepare.
Okay, so let's see. A lady that comes to the 9th month, Yasmin HaKav should prepare everything for Erev Shabbos, and she should not come to Chilul Shabbos. Now, what does this mean over here? Is this a halacha? Is this an Eitz Teva? Well, what's the halacha over here? That when you come in the 9th month, you should prepare to make sure you're not going to be Mechal Shabbos. Make sure you're not going to be Mechal Shabbos. Someone gives birth on Shabbos, usually Mechal Shabbos. So what does it mean you should prepare before Shabbos to make sure that on Shabbos you're not Mechal Shabbos? So the Mogen Avram, the Meister Kem, don't really speak about it too much. Mr. Brew also just quotes the Sefer HaChasidim. But the Poskim today go through it by Arichas. And one of the big shilas is, of course, you should prepare everything, put something aside, whatever you need. Any muktzah, prepare a bag beforehand. Prepare a bag beforehand with all the muktzah stuff that you need to take along with you. And have it ready before Shabbos. If you have to have money for a taxi, set aside a certain amount of money, how much a taxi costs. These things you should do before Shabbos. And once a woman comes to the 9th month, now it doesn't really have to do with the fact that the 8th month in those days was sakana. It has to do with the fact that now there's a chance she's going to go around Shabbos. Now every woman is different. Some women we know that they always give birth late. So they don't have to worry about it in the beginning of the 9th month. That's probably not going to happen. Some women give birth early usually, so they have to worry about it earlier. This is really a practical eitzah, a practical halacha, depending on each person. Sometimes there are people that they're starting to have labor like Wednesday, Thursday, they get a few skiers, some contractions. Such a person before Shabbos has to make sure everything is ready because there's a very good chance they'll go in on Shabbos. Now the big shiloh amongst today's poskim is, so you have to make sure you're not machal Shabbos. Does that mean I have to stay next to the hospital before Shabbos? Because there's a good chance I'm going in on Shabbos. Am I allowed to drive? It's far away. So maybe you should get an apartment close to the hospital and stay there for Shabbos. You don't have to come to Chol Shabbos to drive to the hospital on Shabbos. So that's a shiloh today. In those days it wasn't really a shiloh because in those days no one gave birth in the hospital, they gave birth at home. But today that became the big shiloh of how much you have to prepare before Shabbos in order to make sure that you're not machal Shabbos, meaning do I have to make sure I'm close to the hospital or not. So most of the poskim today hold that if a woman has a place to be, comfortably, whether it's a sibling, whether it's a parent, close to the hospital, better to do it that way, why not? But if they're uncomfortable, they have to go rent something or stay somewhere, and they're uncomfortable, then you don't have to do that before Shabbos. That's not part of the hishtadlus of not being machal Shabbos. But everything else, they have today, for example, they have tickets for taxis. They have it in Toronto. That's all it has, that if someone goes in on Shabbos, they give you a paper, you give it to the taxi driver, and after Shabbos you pay them. So if someone knows the wife's in the 9th month, there's a chance they're going to the hospital on Shabbos, they should get one of those slips before Shabbos. These things, something that you could take care of before Shabbos, should be done before Shabbos. So that's what it means, that they should prepare themselves in the 9th month, they shouldn't come to be Mechal Shabbos. That's that halacha. Seif cut and base. Afil hisuma. Even if she's blind, they're allowed to light a candle even on Shabbos. What's the reason? Since she herself cannot see, therefore it's also to light a candle. Kamashmalan no. Yisuvei meisva daita. You calm her down. Svara, she thinks, midi chali chaverta v'avdusli. So think if I need something, at least my friends who are with me could see. There's no light in the room.
Yeah, but what about you're not lighting for your editor so much. You're lighting for the midwife or something to be able to
see.
Yeah.
Right.
So why the question?
So what's the chiddush? Very, very good question. But we'll get to that in a second. Right. So the Magen Avraham here is saying is even though she cannot see, but if there's light in the room, she knows there's light in the room, then she'll be more comfortable. Why? She knows that those people who have to see could see. That's why you allow to light a candle. She asks for a candle, you allow to light it. Why? Because the people who are helping her should be able to see, even though she herself can't see. As for Machzor Shekel, I understand what the chiddush is. The people who are helping her have to see. That's his question. So look at the Machzor Shekel. It's Seif Karton base.
Afilu.
Such a simple bit.
So we come up with Tzachir only or Tzruchim? Oh, sorry. Magen Avraham asked the kasha. We'll get to Machzor Shekel in a second. Magen Avraham asked the kasha soon. Magen Avraham himself. 1 second. We'll get to the Magen Avraham. Now the Magen Avraham has another kasha. The kasha. Yemru b'faneh she'adliku hanev t'yashu daita. When I have to light the candle, she's going to say, I need a candle. And
so you tell her,
we lit it. She'll never know the difference. Yeah. She'll never know the difference. What do you have to light the candle for? Because kasha the Magen Avraham, right? So one thing you see from the Magen Avraham, biggest side, you're allowed to lie. It says over here. The Magen Avraham says, you're going to ask her, she's going to ask her to light a candle, and you're going to say, yes, we lit a candle.
Are we done?
What?
Are we done?
No, but
so you see from the Magen Avraham, they're allowed to lie to her.
Actually, we see, if you're allowed to light the candle,
what?
we end up lighting the candle, so you see you can't light her.
Yeah, but what's the Magen Avraham kasha? Why are you allowed to lie it? Why? He doesn't answer because you're not allowed to lie. He doesn't answer that. Why doesn't he answer because you're not allowed to lie?
Oh.
So you see from the Magen Avraham, when there was last week's parsha, you see with the Shvatim, right? They came at the end when Yaakov's nifta, they told the Yosef, the Yaakov said, the Yaakov says, Hakam never said it. So it says, Shinu b'fnei Avshalom. They changed, they lied because of peace.
So it's okay.
So here you see that it is a Chil Shabbos. You light a candle because she asked for it. Now, just light her, tell her it's lit, and she'll be fine. So why you allowed to light her? The Magen Avraham is mashma because in order not to be Mechal Shabbos, it could be Mishana. Chiddush, I'm not going to get into the hashkafic issues over here, and when you're allowed to lie, when you're not allowed to lie, Pashas, you're not allowed to lie. But from here you see in the Magen Avraham, there is a certain time that you're allowed to lie if it's avoiding Chilul Shabbos. Okay, let's leave this aside for now. So that's the Magen Avraham Kasha. So he answers, "Ve'efshad the makom makam hiroya mara ner." Big chiddush in the Magen Avraham, and I think it's a Gemara somewhere also. That a blind person, even though they're blind, they could tell the difference if a candle is lit or not.
What about that? They could feel the heat.
It's far away from them.
Far away.
No, but it's a Gemara and Brachas.
But
Yeah, it's Gemara and Brachas.
Yeah.
So it's really Gemara that a blind person could tell the difference if there's light on in the room or not, whatever that means. One teretz. Inami, he says, Tuchel Rasas. He's giving a practical answer. She could test you. How many fingers do I have up?
Yeah.
And you're wrong. She knows that there's no light and you can't see. So that's why, if she asks you to light a candle, you light a candle because she'll figure it out whether it's lit or not. Now, Yochel Nasas Laharois, they have Etzbai Beis, Imyedu. Fine, that's Magen Avraham says. So, Makom Mokai says the Magen Avraham, Tzarech Ian. Lovely time that the Minyas V'daita, one have to come out to the reason because she'll calm down when you have a candle lit. The people who are helping have to see. So look at the Machzah Shekel. Where is the Machzah Shekel over here? The answer is Kasha. He says, what's the limit? In the high time of the Hila Miyas V'daita, Pented Star Chadavar Ma, maybe she'll need something. ובחשיכה לא תהיה לחברסה ידע מזה, או יש לה תהיה אפשר לעשות לו דבר צריכה באפלה, מהי time גופו, this reason itself, אפילו היא לא הייתה חששת לנר, even if she is not worried about the candle, וכמוכם תהיה מותר להדליק נר, לשידע מה צריכה, ויכול לעשות דבר, היא קרוב. The people who are helping her out, they need the light. So what are you saying? You light the light because she should be calm. First of all, being calm. The light that the people could see. Says the Machzah Shekel Mordei V'Teretz. V'achreidim hevi b'shem alavush. The Yashev. Afilu hi b'inyan shechavreseh yecholim la'ases kol advorim. It's in a situation where the chavreseh could take care of whatever they need. They don't need the light. They can manage without the light. Hamitzorchim lo v'chashecha. Afilu hachi mutter. It's still mutter. Why? They can take care of whatever they have to take care of. He lemiyas v'daita. She's not calm. She's worried. She has a mishagas. Ladies, before they give birth, we know they have mishagasin, and you can't fight with them. If they have a mishagasin, have zaken they want, you got to give it to them, whatever the reason is. So it says. The people are telling her, don't worry, we can take care of it, we can see. We have enough light. She says, no, I want a candle lit. Otherwise, I'm not going to be calm. The Chiddush is you're allowed to light a candle just to calm her nerves. That's the Chiddush over here.
So, is there also, we learn from here that you don't have to move it to a room which has light?
You have to move them, I don't know.
So basically...
unless you could, it's hard for her to move it, you don't have to move her. So that's the Chiddush over here, and we'll see it more. That a woman Rishasha gives birth and she asks for certain things. There's such a musik that just to calm her down, you can be Mechal Shabbos. You can be Mechal Shabbos to calm her down, even though we know it's only Meshagas. She doesn't really need it. But even if it's just to calm her down, it's mutter. The Taz says it first over here. If you look at the Taz Sifkat Aleph, Afil Hisuma the Miyas V'daita, it calms it down. Savra Ike Midi Chazak Haverta Vavdlov. Because our taste is the Halcha ain't Sarach Mumcha. You don't need a Mumcha to say whether she needs it or not. When it's Sarach B'chayla, Yom Kippurim, Why not? The mumcha should say, listen, who's the chef to calm down? Maybe she's fine the way it is. No, it doesn't work that way by Yoledes. Why? The Yosi Yechoil HaYoledes Lehistaken Aydei Pachad Shetis Pachet Shema Ein Oisin Yofa Mashe Tzricha Mashe Nistaken HaChoil Berov. A woman who's giving birth, for her pachad, for her fears that she has, she can come more to sakana than a person not eating on Yom Kippur from hunger. Therefore, he says, even though we're only doing it for the fears of the woman, we're not doing it. Reality is that she doesn't really need it. You can ask a doctor if she needs it. The doctor's going to say she does not need it. The halacha is by Yoledes, you let her do whatever she wants you to do for her because she's more sakana of fear that something's going to happen, and that fear, nothing you can do about it. Even though it's no reason for it, and it's a mishagas, doesn't make the difference. Still, you're allowed to do it on Shabbos. You're allowed to be Michal Shabbos. Huh?
Rabbeinu, we have you on tape, you know.
But there's mutter, that's mishagas. No, we know it. It's Messias. It's not.
We see that they were sensitive to the psychological.
That's what he's saying. They're very sensitive to psychological worries of a woman which after gives birth, because that can affect them more than the physical even. It's a real thing. Now some people try to dismiss it. Say, don't worry about it. It's a mishagas, right? I'm trying to tell you, even though it's a mishagas, and you know it's a mishagas, still you have to take care of it. Still you have to worry about it, even though we don't understand it. Men, we don't understand these things. But it happens. And
so if she says, I want to eat chazer.
Yes, I'll give it to her. 100%. If she says she needs to eat chazer, and she's allowed that, you're allowed to give it to her. Even though it's a mishagas, you're allowed to give it to her. Today's days it's the opposite. That they're so from the ladies today that they want to do things they're allowed to do. So you have to listen to that also. Even though it's a mishagas. Right? You have to listen to that also. Any fears they have, any psychological things they have, you're allowed to be Michal Shabbos for, because by Yoledes. It's only by Yoledes. So any time a lady has a mishagas, Michal Shabbos. It's only Yoledes, because then she'll become a sukkah. It doesn't say every chodesh b'sakon. It says only by Yoledes. It doesn't say every woman who's a chodesh b'sakon has a heter. It says only by Yoledes. We know by Yoledes. Yom Kippur also. Yom Kippur you trust the doctor. Whatever the doctor says. You have to ask a mumcha. If a mumcha says she doesn't have to eat, even though she has a mishagas she wants to eat, you don't give her to eat. Not if it's a regular person.
It's very interesting because it's very simple, because you could turn around and say the midwife is a mumcha. I mean, she knows that she could turn around to your evidence and say, no, you're fine, don't worry, it's not. Even if she says, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't make a difference. You're allowed to do it, and only by Yoledes we find it. You don't find it by Stamazay Isha who's a kenes. Because B'Shas Yoledes, the body changes a lot, and these psychological things can affect them a lot. So that's one side of the coin. That by Yoledes we're very makel in whatever she needs, even though there's no reason for it. There's no reason to turn on the light because the Yoledes says we have enough light. You turn it on anyway to calm her down. Now that's one thing. Now we have on the opposite. If you look in Seif and Gimel, Mishanim. You have to if you anything you can do different, you have to do it different. Why? It says in Avram. We had a machlokes before in Shincha Ches by a chayli sheyesh by sakana if you have to do with the shinui or not. We had a machlokes hutra or dechuya. The Shabbos hutra b'fnei pekuach nefesh or dechuya b'fnei pekuach nefesh. Hutra means do whatever you have to and don't worry about Shabbos. Dechuya means no, you still have to worry about Shabbos. Do it b'shinui. Even though we had a machlokes over here it's different. Most people don't die because of later. And when a woman is going into a childbirth, then she may be in a sakana, but most people don't die from the sakana. 1 out of 1,000 only 1 out of 1,000 it says die from it. Therefore, it's not really a sakana because it's a normal thing. So therefore, he says you have to be mishana. So on one side you have to be very sensitive to the emotional needs of the Yoledes, and on the other side we have that's not really a sakana. I mean, you're not allowed to just be Michal Shabbos for every little thing because she'll be fine. So if she doesn't ask for it, then we go the opposite way. If it's not one of her requests, then we go the opposite way. We're more machmir than a regular Chodesh Shesh B'Sakana, but this is not really a sakana. Therefore, you have to be Mishana. In Tzricha L'Shemen, if she needs oil, like Tosim Shemen B'Sara, don't put oil in someone's hair, V'Tavi, Etzla, V'Tiska, as the Gemara says. Saying no one will do that, but so it says if someone needs oil, you put it in a friend's hair, you bring it to her, and then you squeeze it out. You should not do that. And V'Tavi B'Kli, Tavi B'Sayra. You should put it in a kli, the oil in a kli hanging from her hair. The Mutev Lasa Seitzah Ayadei Shinui, the Bli Isser Acher, with the Haisif Isser Schita. It's better to do it with a shinui than to add on an Isser Schita. Here you'll have an Isser Schita of squeezing the oil out of the hair.
Where did it come to this oil discussion? It doesn't fit.
It was a common thing they needed, I guess. Shas later.
We talk about a kli, and now we're going to talk about oil.
No, usually the kli was for oil. If you look at the Torah B'Sayra, the Gemara is talking about oil. The Chavis quoting the Gemara. And the Gemara says it's talking about transferring oil. It's having to do with any type of liquid you want to transfer in a kli, or anything you want to bring in a kli.
Well, today building rooms, especially this, they've got showers and all kinds of probably so that she can calm down, etc.
Right.
So you've got like things about toweling. What are you going to do? And
with what?
The towels. So you're going to get.
No, but I think the point that he's making is that you have to minimize the number of Yisurim. Right?
Yes.
Because another one, he said if you can do it.
You do less Yisurim.
Right.
You do less Yisurim.
Right.
You have to minimize the Yisurim, even though in a regular Chodesh Shesh B'Sakana you don't have to, according to one Shita. Here, everyone agrees when it comes to Yeledes, you have to minimize the Yisurim. And therefore, when you go, that's why it says it before Shabbos, you have to be careful, make sure everything is ready. Right? Even though you have to bring her to the hospital, you have to take care of her, but it's not a Chodesh Shesh B'Sakana, like a regular Chodesh Shesh B'Sakana. Fine, that's Seif Aleph. We have both sides of the coin here. We have, on one side, her emotional needs are very important to take care of, and on the other side, we have that you have to be Mishana to try to do the least Chilul Shabbos possible. Okay, Seif Beis. Akum.
So when you light the candle for her, you have to do it with the shini.
Yeah, do the shini. Yeah. Anything you do with the shini, you do with the shini. You open a light for her, you go into the car, whatever you can do, you do with the shini. That's why you have to try to get the guy to open the door for you. The taxis, you have to try to make sure that you don't do any Melach Shabbos. Whatever you can do all your day, shinui through an akam, you do through an akam or through a shinui. Okay, Seif Beis. Akum ein miyaldin eser b'Shabbos, afilu b'davar she'ein bar chilul Shabbos. So a guy, you now let be miyaldin on Shabbos, now let her give birth, help them give birth. Even some that there is no chilul Shabbos, not doing anything wrong, any iser Shabbos, still you're not allowed to. Now a little bit of akdam over here. There's a halacha that you're not allowed to miyalad akum. You're not allowed to give birth to akum.
Which part are we talking? Akum mamish or a goy?
A goy. Even not over there about the zara mamish. Even not over there about the zara mamish. The Gemara says also to the issue started because if they're over there about the zara, so you're basically giving birth to kids who are over there about the zara, which is awesome. But the issue is even on regular goyim, it's also liyaled goyim. You're not allowed to help goyim give birth. That's what the Gemara says. Says the Gemara, Mishum Eva, there's going to be Eva, they're going to be upset at you. Nevada, you're allowed to help a guy give birth. Mishum Eva. This is on a regular weekday. Now, on Shabbos, the halacha is that even if there's no Isser, you're not allowed to help them give birth. Why? So the Magen speaks out over here that on Shabbos there won't be Eva. Says the Magen Avraham Sif Cotton Hay, Amy Aldin, the Leka Eva. There is no Eva. Why? The Yuchlu Loimar, you can tell the guy, the Misha Eine Mishamer Shabbos, someone is not Mesham Shabbos, I'll tell you a reason why I'm not helping you out. You know why I'm not helping you out? Because we have Shabbos. But now I'll be Mechal Shabbos. And the guy doesn't know what's Chil Shabbos or not. So even if you're not being Mechal Shabbos, you tell the guy this is a Chil Shabbos. And therefore, our laws tell us that if you're not ashamed of Shabbos, we can't be Mechal Shabbos for you. Sorry. Have a nice day.
So how does it work out?
And the guys, those days, accepted it. They understood it. They had their religion also. So they were sensitive to our religious beliefs also. And therefore, when you told the guy, I cannot help you because my religion doesn't allow me because you're not ashamed of Shabbos, they would accept it.
But what if they said, but I know your religion also says you have to say
okay, so let's see. So he says like this. If there's still a chash Evid, I'll figure it out. Then, Shari'im ein Chil Shabbos. If there's no Chil Shabbos, you're allowed to help the guy to give birth on Shabbos without Chil Shabbos. That means during the week, you're not allowed to. Eva, you're allowed to. On Shabbos, we're saying that even if there's no Mr. Shabbos, you're not allowed to because you have a good excuse. And there won't be Eva. But in the case where there is Eva, he is going to hate and he's going to figure out what you're doing, that even on Shabbos, you're allowed to do it where there is no Isser. That's what the Mechaber says over here. Where there's no Isser. Now, what does it mean? Eva Chil Shabbos. So look and see if you can't involve. Keep going. Where is the no Chil Shabbos by birth? So he says, when they're sitting on the Meshaber is what's saying the next seat, is the birthing. What?
Birthing stone.
The birthing stone, yeah.
This expression.
Yeah. So in the Zir already, and the Vlad was Nekka, the Vlad already was it's ready to come out. It's not called attached to the mother anymore. So I mean, if someone sticks their hands into a mother's stomach and uproots the child from its place, there's a chiyuv deraisa of oked davar migadula, like ripping grass off the ground. The same thing over here. If something's attached to the mother, you're not allowed to detach it. So, but once the Jeshuv al Meshaber, it's already called detached, and therefore it's mutter. Inami kivin to koloi chadasha kvanifsa kedulai. Once it's already in the 9th month, it's already considered detached. But now we don't know exactly what Kol Chadashav is, therefore we're not summing on that. So where is the no Chil Shabbos by birthing? When it's already coming out. There's no Chil Shabbos. So when a woman is giving birth, she's pushing, baby's coming out, helping the baby out, there's no Chil Shabbos whatsoever. Afterwards, maybe there is. We'll see later on, cutting the umbilical cord. We'll see about that later on. But the actual birth itself, once it's coming out, there's no Chil Shabbos. So therefore, the Chavi should be able to help a guy on Shabbos if there's Eva. Should be able to help a guy to give birth on Shabbos. Now,
these are halachas for just a regular Jew. But what if you're a doctor?
We'll get into that. So if we're not allowed to help a guy, whenever there's Chil Shabbos, you're not allowed to help a guy give birth on Shabbos.
The Ger Halacha seems to provide an exception for Ger Toshav.
Yeah, Ger Toshav is different.
But how do we know?
No Ger Toshav today.
No?
No. They don't. I mean, there's no going to that except the Shiva Mrs. Bernard.
Yeah, we're just going to the Sugan of Rodazar. I mean, they have to actually state that keeping it, so there's no such thing.
But the convert these days who comes to the convert,
a ger something else. It's a ger.
But he's not really Jewish. He's not really.
A ger something else.
Take years, you know.
Yeah, a ger something else. So now look at the Mishnah Berurah here. Very important Mishnah Berurah here. Siv Karl Ches. Kusis Emiyaldin. Of a fill of a schal. Even if they pay you the Bechol, Miyaldim Misham Eva. During the week you're allowed to Misham Eva. From a void of your day, so Mekufn Dal, Hacha, also Misham Nichola. They stamet, you get out of it. The Lema, the Ein Mechal and Shabbos, Kiyim, Lahu, the Minta Shabbata. We're not Michal Shabbos, or into those who watch Shabbos. Today also, if there's a Eva, you're allowed to do it. V'da, very important Mr. Baruch here. Oh boy, interesting. V'da, he says, the Reifim, Bizmanenu, Aftula Yesik Sherim, even the kosher doctors, the ones that are from, ain't on this harim is a cloud. They're not careful with this halacha at all. The Maisim B'chal Shabbos and Maisim Kamer Pasois, the Rapois Ovdei Kechavim, they travel to heal Goyim, the Koisvin, the Shoichakin, Shamamonim. Do you have a space here to have the Chavim and Koisvin?
Yes. There's a star.
What does the star say?
Yeah, the star goes to Bimdinot.
India?
And there, yes.
Oh, boy.
Wow. India.
Gavalda, I don't have that for me. I was wondering why. Okay, I'll show you why. I'll get to that in a second.
This is the...
India.
I'll tell you why it's important. I know, I took it out. Do you have it in your room?
Yeah, I don't have it in mine. Same as yours.
Very important. Okay, we'll see why in a second.
I don't have it in mine too.
See why in a second. It's very important. Okay. So they go. Doctors go to the Karapasois, the Rapois of the Kechavim. Big Avon is Mishnah Berurah. Okay. The Koisvin v'Shoichet Kim Samamonim. They write prescriptions and they grind Samamonim ba'atzmon. Ve'ein lehem al masha yismoichu. They don't have anybody to rely on. Even if you're going to say you're allowed to be Mechal Shabbos because of Eva for an Issa D'Rabbanan, after Gamza Eine Bar Ein Primigodim, Primigodim says Sarach Ian if it's from Eva, you can be Eva Issa D'Rabbanan. Issa D'Araisa Bavadai Osir L'Kul Alma, even because of Eva. To be over an Issa D'Araisa for a Goy, says the Mishnah Berurah is Osir even if there's going to be Eva. Mechavale Shabbos Gemurim Heim B'Mezid Hashem Yishmereim. Very strong lotion of the Siman of the doctors here today. But it's a very it's a very strong lotion.
So that's why later didn't come.
No, but
what's that? We'll get to everything, sir. It's a very strong lotion of the Mishnah Berurah here. It says the Prima Godim over here says Mishum Eva, maybe you can be over in Issa D'Rabbanan. But Issa D'Raisa says the Mishnah Berurah, of course you can't. And they be over Issa D'Raisa. So how could they do that? How could a doctor today be over Issa D'Raisa for a guy? And he says, therefore, Mechalei Shabbos Gemurim Heim B'Mezid Hashem Yishmereim. Because they're very strong lotion. Now the problem is today, you go to hospitals, Jewish doctors, Froma doctors, that'll be Mechal Shabbos D'Raisa for guy. What's the heter? According to Mishnah Berurah, no heter. What's the heter today for doctors in hospitals? They have shifts, they take a Shabbos shift, and a Mechalel Shabbos doing Isurim D'Oraisa for Goyim. What's that? So the Moshe has a tshuva about this. There's a long tshuva about Hanhogas Reifer B'Shabbos. How should doctors behave on Shabbos? It's interesting. This is a tshuva that some Menachem David Zemba Shlita. Now, I know there's a doctor at Borough Park. His name is Menachem Zemba. So I'm assuming that this tshuva was written in Tavshalam Test like 40 years ago when he started practicing. And he wrote, and he says, so Moshe, what do? I'm a doctor. What's my snaggles? How do I feel in the hospital? So there's a whole long thing here about that if you have to do shifts, you should try to do your shift on Sunday, not on Shabbos. Hey. But then he says, how about if you have to do it on Shabbos? Your shift comes out on Shabbos, what should you do? So the Moshe writes over here, I'll read the tshuva inside. It's very important to hear. Because he's coming to argue on the Mishnah Berurah. So that if Damish Mukhach Li Shabbos Beis Achadim like Shukfar Reif Kavua, Shabbos Hamishach Shaloi Sagra b'Shabbos, even though his practice, his clinic, is closed on Shabbos. Bo Dafka Elav Nachri Chayla, and everybody knows he's a doctor. So a guy, a Nachri a Chayla comes to his house and knocks on his door on Shabbos and says, "I need help." The Davar Shehu Sakana, who Mukhach Li Dakak Loi. Af bechilo Shabbos be'issa deraisa. Says a Moshe, a guy comes and knocks on your door on Shabbos. He knows you're a doctor. You have to be mechalo Shabbos to help out the guy. The opposite of the Mishnah Berurah. Why? Because Mishnah Zavan is also in Samach Lebeisai, when there's an accident, Shekar on the Reif al Samach Yesir, Miyachad le Miskabel Medinisena ad Chuyim Shomer Abaya. Since in today's generation, they don't accept Abaya is Dichui. You have Shem Shabbos, I can't help you. Try to tell us our guy. What happens is, if you're a doctor, and you know that they'll sue you, not just they'll sue you,
take away your license.
Before take away your license, it's Shabbos Sakona. If the Goyim hear that Jewish people don't help Goyim on Shabbos, they won't help the Eden hospitals. Now, you come to hospital on Shabbos, they say, "Oh, you're Jewish? Have a nice day. I'm not going to help you." Sakona, they could come out, besides you lose your license, we're talking about Sakona Nefashos. So he says, "Who Sakona Mamish Gam Be'etzem Legufei Mamish B'Kroi V'Achayla." So the Kroi and the Chayla could be in the. They'll come and they'll kill him. Right? Someone's dying in the street, and you say, "You're not sure I'm not going to help you." The next day they'll come and they'll shoot you. Right? You let my father die in the street because he's not a Jew. The next day they'll come after you. Especially if it's the Italians. The guy who
you have could it be for example especially with the
Italian
there was a Jewish house, there was a Jewish hospital, there was like they even took care of themselves.
That's what I said. Even though he's a choshesh sakana for himself, the people in the city, the government, they'll come out against the Eden. She has vaday lochosh gam linyane sakana mitzaytzeh. You have to worry of sakanas nefashos that's going to come out of that if they hear that Jewish doctors are not treating goyim. After tasting some the maskal some common exceptional happen from every through the right side if you are matzim the same as vanazeh iki mitzad eva sakana gedoyle. Ba'af b'medina sheveshus l'chal adam Yisrael l'snaneg v'dina yatera. Even in the places where people have a right to perform their religion, for example, America, Canada, a person can perform their religion, but religion comes till it comes to a question of letting somebody die. If you let somebody die, religion goes away. And then he says, says the Pella on the Chafetz Chaim in Mishnah Berurah, Siman Shalom Tzivka and Chas Our Mishnah Berurah. Shekosav the Harifim Afula Yesik Shem Leisim Kavrasayis L'Rapos Akum V'Shayfkin Shalman Ba'atzman V'Lasik the Mechal LeShabbos Gemurim Hein V'Mezit Afshe Haya Sheyeh Eva Mizeh. There's a Pella on the Mishnah Berurah. Why do you write that for? Why? Because who Berusland? Mishnah Berurah was in Russia. By Yeris HaKatanos Sheyrak Reif Echad there's one doctor. It's Borer, he writes, the Ramosha. If in Russia, if there were in a little city, there was one Jewish doctor, and the doctor said, "I'm not going to heal you because you're not Jewish," they would have killed him on the spot. So it's a Pella on the Mishnah Berurah that he writes that the Mechal Shabbos Gemurim Hein.
But how is that different from having to give up your life if somebody says you have to convert? You're not allowed to convert.
Converting is different. No, converting is different. It's Chil Shabbos. You have to give your life to Chil Shabbos. Where's that in Chil Shabbos? It's not Yagva Yavar. What is our Shvichas Dam and Gevarayis? Chil Shabbos is not one of the Gimel Averis Chamuris. So he says, and not just for him, Misa Lebonim or Bita or Mechadayma, Yam Shefte Medina Lahayim Anishna Yitzchak Kach, on the Garmin Lamishna Sa'akum, Shehar Goy, and afterwards, after the guy kills him, the Russian government wouldn't have. They wanted to put the person in the trial. How could the Mishnah Berurah write that At his place, people were Mechal Shabbos in their Reise, and he doesn't let them. How can he not let them? They're going to get killed by the mobs. So therefore he says, the Gama Chazina Shechoshash Lazeh, and Yasa Evim Mizel, so I can't hit this one up. So he says, therefore says the Moshe in the Shuvah, that's maybe what the Mishabru was matfis l'mata, which you have. I don't know why I took it out of our Mishabrus over here. The Moshe has a big problem over here. How could the Mishabru write that the doctors should not be Mechal Shabbos? In Russia they would kill you if you didn't do it. How can he write? He says that's why the Moshe writes at the bottom, the Chavetz Chaim writes at the bottom, Hago al zeh, shekavanosahu rak b'medinas India. Only in Medina's India. In India, they would still accept such a tshuva, because in India they also had their religions. So therefore, in India they shouldn't be Mechal Shabbos. They shouldn't be, because there they don't have to be scared they're going to kill you, because they also had their religions and they accepted it. But in Russia, you try to do that, they'll kill you on the spot. Even in America, you could end up getting killed because of it.
I thought India, because Hinduism is considered really a
I thought it was exactly. I thought it was.
Christians are not so much.
He doesn't write that.
No, but I thought that's why he mentioned India, is because India could still be known.
No, but it's a shash.
It says שעד היום האומות הם עובדי כוכבים ומזלות.
Because they are idols.
Something else. Okay, something else. Fine.
They are idols.
Fine.
Muslims also are against the.
So fine. So okay. So maybe that's what it means.
I think that's why I go back to this is maybe Akamamish.
Yeah.
And it says he writes, the Kimich Ikal Kaponim Sofik Ha'afrishvil Sofik Kotiv Hulakula B'Kok Nefesh. So the whole thing changes now. You learn the Mishabru over here. A doctor who's in the hospital on Shabbos, the Chari is not of Mechal Shabbos, so this is the Raisa. Says the Moshe that especially with the Hagah of the Mishabru, he says, you see the Mishabru himself, when he said it, it wasn't so simple. Because he was scared in Russia to write something like that, because they're going to kill him if he writes something like that. So therefore, change. I'm surprised that the Mishabru is taken out. I have a space for the star, but I don't put the star there.
The new shirt's not there.
No, you can't take out Hagoyes from
In this there is not even the star.
Yeah, because that's not the. It's a pill that took it out. It's a pill that took it out. And Moshe had it in his Mishabru, obviously.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it changed the whole psak because of it. He says maybe that's why Mishabru writes it. So today, halacha l'maisa, a doctor, even though Mishabru comes out very strong against it, a Jewish doctor who's in a hospital, and it's his turn. Of course, Moshe has a whole tshuva in the beginning. In that tshuva, a Jewish doctor should try to make sure that he works on Sunday and not on Shabbos. He's very upset about those people who have one day off on Sunday, and therefore they go to on Shabbos and says you can't do that. You have to.
The bigger issue, I think, is probably on Yom Tov, because a lot of the doctors take Yom work because they try. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't, because they don't take off Yom Tov. No, never mind.
Yeah, the truth is, a doctor. The truth is a big shadow. You have to know. A doctor who has a shift and he could take off on Yom Tov and it'll be one of his days off, maybe he's mechuyev to. Why is he going to lose off that and he's not going to have any other days off? So what? So he's been Chal Shabbos D'Oraisa. You're going. I mean, a regular person who works and he has a limited amount of days off, right? There's no question about it. He's got to take off Yom Tov as his day off. Right now, I'll go ahead and work on Yom Tov. So if you're in the hospital and you assume the right, so you have a way out, you can use it as a day off. I don't think you have to take a day off. It's only if you're here and you have to treat the goyim, you have no choice. Unless he's a doctor that the people in the hospital know that he's a Jewish doctor, and he won't have to be Mechal Shabbos, he'll have people writing for him and doing the malachas for him. Even then, I'm not so sure it's not taken off on Yom Tov.
What's interesting is that the thing of where the Jew is supposed to tell the goy, I can't do anything for you because you're not Shomer Shabbos. If I was a clever goy, I'd say, but I'm not allowed to be Shomer Shabbos. In fact, I'm Chayav Mitzvah if I'm Shomer Shabbos.
Yeah. Walk someone home with it. Yeah, so that's this halach over here, and that's why it's mutter today. Okay, Sif Gimel. Mikras Yoledes. When a woman called a Yoledes, he said a Yoledes allowed to be Mechal Shabbos for her. At what stage is a woman called a Yoledes? Mikras Yoledes Mechal Shabbos, Vishateshev Al Meshaber, on the birthing stone, and Mishosh Hadam Shoshes Miyed, or she starts bleeding, and the person doesn't mean bleeding, it means the water breaks, and usually there's some dam in there. Remember my first baby, my wife's water broke. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Told her to go back to sleep and leave me alone. I did. So take care in the morning. Take care in the morning. Walked to my in-laws' house, and my father sent us flying to the hospital. But when the water breaks, you have to go to the hospital. Or you can't walk because of the Chavaleda. Once you see any of these symptoms, you give Mechal Shabbos. Today they say already that if the contractions are within a couple of minutes already, she's called Mechal Shabbos. Now, it's very important to note that this is all talking about when she's already in the hospital. She's in the hospital, you want to know when you give Mechal Shabbos for her. She has to hold it at this level. She wants something, right? She wants something, you have to get it for her. She wants ice chips. Ice chips is if you put an electric thing, right? Press the machine. Now, if she doesn't have any of these symptoms, you're not allowed to do it. She's not called sakana yet. Any other thing she wants, you can't do it yet. You have to wait till she's a
contractions are not enough.
Contractions are not enough. It has to be close enough that it's called kavalei. It has to be a couple of minutes apart. She has a contraction every 10 minutes. It's not called that she's sakana, they allow to go to Mechal Shabbos for. It's a very common child. They tie them to the bed already with their monitors, right? And she wants to drink the water. She wants ice. You're not to Mechal Shabbos yet. She's not called the Chodesh Shebes Sakana. But to get to the hospital, then they allow to Mechal Shabbos earlier. You don't have to wait for these signs to first go to the hospital. That's what the Taz speaks out over here. She's caught in base. Nikras Yoledes Bechalel. Niruli Shazel v'Inyan Hadvarim Asher Efshel Atzaysam Kan Beli Ikov. And that do it like Mechal Shabbos. Okay, a Mechal Shabbos Mezeh Ki'im Acher Shehi Echad Me'elu. Avol Inyan Kriyas Chachamo to go get a midwife, or today's days to go bring her to the hospital. Le'Shaychi Shiurim Alalu Teim Krevim L'Leida Yesim Yeshir Beis Chachamo. Sometimes, by the time if you wait till this, the midwives are going to miss the whole thing. Right. She feels a little bit. She's going into labor, even a suffix. Mutter b'kriyasa kain nirali mitzad svara ve'ei tzarech l'raya b'zeh. Says the Taz, this is what it seems to me min svara. I don't have to bring any rayas to it. And the Mishmur Taka brings down this Taz. So you don't have to wait till the last minute till the woman's having chavla leida and she has a din of Yoledes to bring her to the hospital. The second, she's not sure, you bring her straight to the hospital. You don't have to wait. This din of Mechal Shabbos is only when she's in the hospital already, and now you want to be Mechal Shabbos for her for certain things, you have to wait.
So, is there other different levels of Yoledet, especially when it comes to Chodesh She'esh Sakana? Because, for example, if somebody goes into contractions in the 8th month, for example, like somebody, so do you turn around and say, you just go? Yeah, if you have any small suffering, you're not sure, you bring it to the hospital. I mean, you have to use a seichel. Right. Because sometimes we're chatting with a first she was a month early, and unfortunately she started bleeding, so we just went.
Sure. No question. They bleeds during pregnancy, you go straight to the hospital. It's not a child. But contractions, you have to use your seichel. You can't go running to the hospital. There's some people that go running constantly to the hospital every time it's contractions, they go running. Right. Especially by the first kid.
Right, by the ninth child,
Yeah. Nice try, my first kid. I lived in Israel. So I went to Israel. When did I go? My wife was expecting. It was early. It was in the 6th or 7th month. And we're about to take off. I'm going with labor. I'm having contractions. I said, I hope you're not, because we're about to take off. There's not enough, I don't think I can fly. I said, so what are you feeling? I went through it. I said, you'll be fine.
Good.
And we took a look at it. So it was fine.
Wait, did you say you were fine? Oh, was that part of the...
Part of the water breaking? No.
Morgan Abraham said you can hide in your You're okay.
You're okay, yeah. So a person has to be shy. These things are very hard to be shy. You definitely have people that are constantly in the hospital, in the 9th month. They're not sure it is. But even such people that have those mishegasim, they're not sure. There's something you're allowed to go to the hospital. There's something you're allowed to go to a hospital, go to a doctor to check it out. Don't take any chances. Unfortunately, there are people that are the opposite and they have the babies in the house. But so different you could go. But if you're Mechal Shabbos, once they're in the hospital, once they're there with the Takama, once they're by a doctor, then you have to wait for serious contractions, which is called she's about to have a baby. Right. It's always so.
Then he had to